What is going on, you guys? My name is Rayge, and we are back today with a new Gold Rush Challenge update video for you also. In today's video, we're going to be going through tier 15, 16, and 17, each of them ramping up in difficulty, but as well, we're going to be going through this with specifically using only city characters, as those are the allowed characters for these nodes. And keep in mind, because if this is the end game for these challenges, you likely will need gear tier 17 or 18 just to get through these challenges because of their difficulty. Let's get right to it now, starting with number 15. Now, I want to kick things off here, starting with my Dark Dimension 6 team that's done really good. Most of these characters already being leveled up, so this is actually what worked for me, guys, but please keep in mind, use whatever is best for your roster. But I definitely think a staple is going to be Black Cat and Robbie Reyes, just because of their synergy with them being in the meta as well. I also like Cloak. I'm a big fan of him with his debuff, so starting off, not too bad, thankfully. We're going to be facing up against these shield minions with the Squirrel Girl, and what I did is from the middle, I used the ability block on Squirrel Girl, so that way they're not getting too much heals. Go ahead, save Black Cat special, just because it's a really good ability for any big enemies that we want to focus on. Activating Spider-Man 2099's ultimate there is able to strip all the debuffs, gives us a chance to attack enemies that have the taunts, right? I think he's a really good one to have for this round specifically, just because of the fact that, you know, his bleeds also help Robbie Reyes gain Terminator. But again, flipping those buffs to debuffs is a really advantageous position for us to be in. And thankfully, guys, I don't think 15 is too bad, but keep in mind, most of these are actually ramping up in difficulty as we progress. It's great that we're seeing now more infusion of gold, which is great. Shang-Chi does spawn in the next wave, and that's when I go ahead. I use another ability block on him. Probably didn't need to use the Cloak ultimate. It was a little overkill, but got a little excited and jittery there. Tigra finally got out of the dodges there, so activating the ultimate there from Robbie Reyes is able to clean up that wave easily. And then finally this last wave here with the Val, Ronin synergy with Tigra, so something you need to be mindful of. I think that's the only one we need to watch out for. Thankfully, these guys aren't that strong, as you can see from their power levels. You know, we are well ahead of them in terms of upgrades, so that's why it's not an issue to make some quick moves here, especially if you're using gear tier 17 and above. You likely won't have an issue with 15, but 16 and 17 is where actually I took multiple tries to get through. Actually, I wasn't even able to 3-star gear tier 16 yet, but I just wanted to get through the 17 because we're going to be focused on the final stages of the gold challenge anyway, so not an issue if you're able to get a 2-star on some of these. So there you go. That's a quick wrap here for number 15. Tier level 16 definitely was a little bit more dicey for me in terms of attempts, so I did actually take out 2099 and actually opted in for Dagger to have that synergy with Cloak. They're going to have more debuffs being placed, because as you'll see in the starting wave, we're up against the Undying team in addition to some of these more heavy hitters like Silver Surfer and Pegasus team. So the ability block on Juggernaut's really big because of the fact that it also strips away his buffs, and finally we get a chance to land the ultimate with Cloak. If there's certain debuffs that don't land, that's okay, you can back out, but thankfully the one I was aiming for was Hela, just because she's going to be ready to use that ultimate there. It would have been ideally nice if we had some Pegasus members caught in those debuffs as well, but as you can see, because of their power level not being as high as ours, we do have an advantage here. But you still can't drop your guard, because after that shortly my guy actually falls down, and I just didn't want to reset. I wanted to see if this team could still get it done, so I opt to use Black Cat special on Kang to completely isolate and shut him down. And now we are going to be focusing on cleaning up, because we know there's going to be an Icarus that spawns in the next wave. So to prevent that synergy with Cersei, I definitely would recommend on focusing Cersei. So you can see we're just letting the Pegasus members get their attacks, but we're focusing and doing damage. Thankfully, Kang is also shut down as well. And then Moonstone, not too big of an issue. I think you can leave her be, but if she does land her stun, it's going to be able to slow you down a little bit. And again, we're not too worried about Pegasus because they'll get their shots in, but we need to focus on the problem at hand, which is obviously taking down Cersei before Icarus does spawn. And if he does spawn with her, they're going to get a lot more synergy, hence why the emphasis here. So thankfully, hasn't dropped too crazy, and the bleeds took her out, and now we're in a good position, leaving only Moonstone out of this wave. that should spawn actually the next wave here with Icarus, and as well as another spawning here of the team Undying. So this is why I probably could have gotten the 3-star, but I just got lazy, just because we don't need to be farming this node anyways, and we're going above and beyond. Silver Surfer I can definitely see being an issue here if he lands his ability block right on your allies. And again, the Icarus Cersei combination, definitely something you need to be watching out for, because this Undying team spawns and Juggernaut's going to be, you know, calling for all the attacks. So you definitely want to be focusing on him or adding some sort of blind, so that way we're not getting too much damage received here. And thankfully, when I did use the ultimate from Cloak, it landed as well on Zombie Iron Man, which helps us in terms of just mitigating some damage, right? But this wave does have quite a bit of damage. I think gear tier 17 probably is going to be the minimum requirement. My characters are 18, so that's why they're holding up a little better. But yeah, just something to be mindful of, guys. So most of the Undying team is taken care of now, and we're just focusing on these damage dealers. Ideally, Silver Surfer and Icarus should have been prioritized, but it's just how the attack order went and the luck and the RNG in terms of how this worked out. So now we can focus on both of them with Iron Man actually being stunned, and as well now we can actually just pinpoint our attacks and doing work. And thankfully, that's why I like having Black Cat and Robbie in the middle. They seem, characters in the middle seem to be getting the most attacks. So if you put your best characters in the middle, hopefully that can mitigate damage, especially my Dagger. She's only 17 on that side, so I put her in the corner. Cloak is pretty squishy as well, but we get the New Warriors kind of synergy here to be able to kind of mitigate damage and thankfully wrap things up here, as you can see with this node here. So pretty good team, but again, the 2-star, not a concern because we're moving on to 17 here. Okay, so without a doubt, this one's definitely the hardest one, guys. So for this one, I did actually have to bring in Green Goblin Classic. You'll see there's going to be some value that he's going to have with the Turn Meter Rewind and the Trauma. So without a doubt. And Big Time Spider-Man, very important, guys. You need him actually to start things off, because if Miss Marvel Hardlight gets her taunt, it's hard to get behind that brick wall. Big Time being able to apply that disruption in the very beginning is huge. We use Black Cat to shut down Photon, and as well we're going to use Robbie to shut down here Niku Minoru. It shuts down that entire left side, so that way they're not doing too much work on us. But there's a couple of timely things that we need to be doing in this one to get the 3 stars. And again, without a doubt, the hardest gold challenge that we've seen to date, and there's still one more level that's going to be coming out in a few days, so when we get the attempts back. But in this opportunity where you do get Green Goblin, I would just recommend using a special on Captain Marvel here, just because of the fact that we want to be saving the ultimate later on in the nasty wave that comes with Red Hulk. Hence why we're just focusing and doing bleeds here. Once Photon gets out of that stun, focus on that left side, because she's a really good character. Her blinds and her ultimate can really hurt us, and you want to be taking them down as soon as possible. Leaving characters like obviously Spider-Woman and Captain Marvel, it's not as big of an issue. That left side is really the big concern there. So thankfully with this team that we have, though, we have a lot of bleeds going around, but not too much heals. So we do need to be cognizant of the attacks that we're going to be receiving. The next wave here, Red Hulk. So I would take a gamble here, try to use the ultimate. Sometimes I can land the blind on Red Hulk. Sometimes I can't. And if you can't, it's not an issue whatsoever. Just make sure that you're utilizing the ultimate there to land the trauma, because we're going to be unleashing all our attacks here in this wave, just because we want Red Hulk to activate and trigger his ultimate, but ideally to take him down before that happens, obviously. And the reason why this is such a dangerous wave and node to deal with is because after this we have another Black Cat to deal with as well. So that's why we are trying to pinpoint all our attacks on Red Hulk, taking him down as the priority target, which we do right there. And then the next one will be Phyla-Vell and Brawn, just because they can have some supportive capabilities. They can support Black Cat in the next wave, and we have another hard light that we need to deal with, and they're both super tanky, so that's why we need to be strategic here. So 6 out of 13, it's gonna spawn, and there's a couple of things you can do. I purposely saved my Black Cat's ultimate, so that way you can use her ultimate to strip away the positive buffs from their Black Cat, and that gives us now an opportunity to shut her down. If she gets her special or ability also on us, there is likely going to be a guaranteed ally death on your side, hence why we need to focus on that, right? And now we're in a great position. She's got the trauma stun, and we need to deal with some of these damage dealers. But once you shut down Black Cat in this last wave, it's smooth sailing, thankfully. Even though they have a couple of damage dealers, no one is as impactful as the Black Cat that we're dealing with here. So now we can go ahead, use all our abilities, turn meter, rewind. So again, I found that Green Goblin Classic's damage was just instrumental in this wave. I mixed around with 2099, Cloak and Dagger synergy, Shang-Chi I tried a couple of times, and it wasn't just getting the same bang. So I mean, I don't like to recommend 2 legendaries for a challenge event, but I found that Green Goblin Classic just made such a big deal in this challenge. So hopefully you guys don't need them. Maybe you can figure out another team synergy. Let me know in the comments below, guys. But this is kind of what worked for myself. And once we shut down the Black Cat here, that only leaves Jessica Jones and the 2 hard lights, and that's going to be pretty smooth sailing here. So now it's going to take some time to finish them off. They're just super tanky characters when you leave these couple of characters here. They can soak up so much damage. Hence why we just want to, you want to take care of these characters at the very end. You don't want to be, you know, taking care of them in between the waves or focusing on them at all initially. So there you guys have it. We're going to wrap this up here with finishing off the hard lights. But yeah, again, guys, let me know if you have any other teams, if you tried work. This is a team synergy that worked for myself after a few tries here. But now it's great to see more infusion of gold. So hopefully this helps you guys. Let me know in the comments below. Thank you as always, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.